Thank you very much, Shocks. This time we're not going to get caught by surprise, and it is indeed time for Game 4 between the Copenhagen Wolves and MeetYourMakers. With one win away, the Wolves will earn themselves a spot in the 2014 Spring Split. Based on the way they've been dominating the last two games, though, they've got to be feeling pretty good chances with that.
Yeah, and especially because Youngbuck had his best game of the series last game. He finally got to play Renekton. Third time around, he's trying to qualify here for the LCS, and he was just so potent there. Like, the 4-3-11 doesn't tell the whole story, because in those fights, he was miles ahead of the rest of their team, taking on 3 people at a time for most of it, and still had more kills than deaths by the end of the game. Copenhagen Wolves are looking strong.
So pick ban strategy is how are we looking at it coming into the next game? They surely got to take Renekton away. Are they going to let Lucian through? Doesn't seem to work well against them. They are playing as the blue team this time around, I feel, MeetYourMakers.
No, at this point,
they are...
it's the same for the rest of the
yes,
series.
they're going to be staying blue and red
because
all the way through.
At the start of it, there was MYM who got to pick their sides for game 1, 3, and 5, and Copenhagen Wolves who got to pick for 2 and 4. Copenhagen Wolves picked blue side both times. MYM picked red side for games 3 and 5. So that means games 2 through 5, it's all the same the whole way through.
And so far, they've gone 0-2 on the red side. So the counter picking doesn't seem to be working too well for them.
Not at the moment. I mean, a lot of times you want to save it for the last pick, but game 2, they picked last pick Tryndamere. That was definitely not strong against Shyvana. And I actually, off the top of my head, don't remember what their last pick was in game 3. But I want to talk about the bans a little bit, only because if MYM has anything else to open up, I feel like it's Kassadin, because they banned it away in both of their games already, and they kind of need an extra ban. They don't want to be giving Lucian away, they don't want to be giving Ziggs away, and they need kind of one more. And you obviously don't want to be giving Kassadin away, that's why they've been banning it, but it's the only thing that hasn't been proven to beat them so far.
And we also could talk about the Katarina ban that's been going through every single time.
Yeah, but that's from Copenhagen Wolves side, right?
Yeah.
So I don't think Copenhagen Wolves cares. There's no reason for them to switch up their banning strategy. They're going to ban Mundo, they're going to ban Katarina, and be happy with that.
Well, we see the teams, of course, Mundo obviously banned away because of Game 1. If you guys have missed any of this action, well, you missed some fantastic games. Game 1 was definitely a back-and-forth voice breaker, I think it was.
Yeah, I was thinking if we get 5 games like that, I'm not going to be able to cast the rest of the weekend, because it was 31 kills to 19 kills. Not going to tell you who won if you want a super spoiler, but we're spoiled at this point anyway.
Yeah, we're spoiled already, because you can see it's 2-1 to the Copenhagen Wolves, and it was the only game they've won. And look at those bans already. It is pretty much identical, but Renekton has been taken away. It does mean Lucian could get picked up as first pick. No, Youngbuck wants that Shyvana.
Interesting. Why would Copenhagen Wolves switch this up? Because they... Oh, that's why, because they had no Renekton to play against Shyvana, so therefore Youngbuck wants to play the Shyvana. This does mean MYM can pick Lucian if they really want to, and I think they should, because that's the only game they've won is the one they controlled Lucian in.
And if you are just joining us, we should point out that Rengar is banned from this tournament. A bug being found on him, which is why he's been removed. It also means that Lucian has snuck through, like you said. That means Makler will be happy with that. The game he won was on Lucian, and it does mean it seems that Charu really wants that Ziggs. Such a contested pick between these two teams.
And these are very good early picks by MYM. The one wrinkle they obviously added in this time was that Renekton ban, and I think the early results of it work out pretty well. We haven't seen Youngbuck's success on Shyvana yet, even though we know how strong Shyvana top lane can be. But it just gives MYM what they've won with. And they need to obviously win these next 2 games.
Yes, they've been up against it before, of course, against the Dragonborns. And this time, they have switched the support. That means Ziggs could sneak through. Let's see what Counter maybe counters it. Maybe they were hoping that he picks it.
He should take it, Ziggs, right away.
And he has. He's taken it. It looks like it's going to be amazing again on Vi as well, who, Arane reminds me, you know, forget the World Finals, guys. I played Vi all through the EU LCS Summer Split, so we've got to give him credit. It was actually quite popular in Europe.
I will give Arne credit for the Vi pick. He was by far the most potent, like the most vocal Vi supporter all throughout the split. And then it picked up some steam. But we got some picks and bans going right here. I think the Ahri is another thing that Charu is going to try to pull off. He almost always played Ahri with teleport. He played a lot of it in Season 3 during the LCS. And now, with the Ahri changes that actually happened a couple patches ago, so much of the power has been moved around the charm. So if Charu can land the charm, then he'll be successful. But if he throws that into a Shyvana or a Vi and can't get it to the priority targets, that is not going to have impact.
And the Makana picking up the Evelynn not been sold on that one so far for McKenna. Evelyn itself has been a pretty amazing jungler, but so far Copenhagen Wolves have had an answer to it.
They have. It's because Copenhagen Wolves is picking such unanimously strong laners, and also Amazing has done a very good job at being in the same place as Eve so that Eve doesn't have that man advantage that she gets to surprise everyone with. It's just so difficult to do, and I have to give credit to Amazing for kind of shutting that down.
Oh, well, if that's going to be the final pick, this is World Finals material right here. There was never a counter to Jax. Could it be the choice? Is it going to be what works for MeetYourMakers?
That was also before Shyvana had really turned into a top laner right now. And I have a feeling Shyvana is going to be able to lane pretty darn well against Jax, because he's one champion who, much like Renekton, who was great against Jax, can build a lot of defensive items and still have the power to take him low. The only thing Shyvana would be lacking over Renekton is that stun to shut down the auto attacks. But I actually think that this, someone will have to tell me, but I feel like this matchup favors Shyvana.
I'm wondering if they're going to change it, because they haven't locked it in yet. I'm thinking that maybe they're going to try and wait till Youngbook sets up his mastery, sets up his runes, and flip the switch last second. But instead, it is a couple of seconds time, and it is going to get locked in. So Living is going to flip it to Singed. That's a change.
That's a bit of a flip on the last pick. Yeah, it's terrible. All right, so that does mean at least MYM has a tank, which is the big thing that was lacking for them the last time they didn't have Mundo in the top lane and they lost that game. So I kind of like that pick, Singed near the end. But Copenhagen Wolves has displayed a lot of ability to force fights when they get themselves in 5v4 situations. And that's all Singed is about, is making 5v4 situations. I'm skeptical of this MYM team composition.
I'm skeptical indeed, because the Copenhagen Wolves, well, they're 2-1 up. You can see it on your screen, despite being 1-0 down in, honestly, a game they could have won themselves. Copenhagen Wolves, they came back and then threw it away.
Based on the variability of that first game, this could have been a 3-0 based on what happened in games 2 and 3. And we're going to bring this up every time it happens, because MYM has been down 2-0 in a promotion series final before, and they won 3 games in a row against Dragonborns to make it into the LCS. They're experienced enough. You have to be able to close them out.
And the resilience that these players have got. Certainly the Copenhagen Wolves, there's team players in here that have been in this situation many times before, and unfortunately for them, some of them have all been through it and gone out. And you've got to look at, say, Coutard is a prime example, because for them, they just happened to come up against the strongest team last time in the summer split. Yeah. Honestly, on paper, that team probably would have beat the other two teams in qualifying. But they came up against a very strong, as it was then, Copenhagen Wolves, that became the Ninja Pyjamas, a very strong team in Bjergsen, who is now on TSM. That team's scattered in the wind, effectively. But he's always been a strong top laner.
Yes.
Especially on Renekton. It seems his champion pool has definitely diversified a little bit, but he hasn't played that great outside of Renekton.
Yeah, his first 2 games were a little bit rough. I think he held his own in the second game a bit better. And I think Shyvana, since it's been such a contested ban between these two teams, is going to be another strong performance from Youngbuck. I really do feel like he's kind of turned it around here, and knowing that it is his 3rd try to get into the LCS, he really needs to perform right here. He's maybe gotten hurt by the pressure a few times in the past, but I mean, the pressure's already set in. They're 4 games in. It's just happening right now. And coming off such a strong game, I feel like Youngbuck is going to have the confidence to perform here.
Well, we're seeing MeetYourMakers going full-on aggressive once again, as they've done in the last 2 matches, and hasn't been that successful for them so far. They've really not traded too well. They've gone deep in for this one. They really want to try and hope they can catch someone out, but again, you see that it's going to be a Youngbuck down in that bottom lane, and everybody from MeetYourMakers, well, they're backing off. They've got that ward deep on the lane. You can see they've put it down there. And well, Copenhagen Wolves not taking any of it. They've just sat in stagnant positions, full-on defensive setup.
It's actually kind of surprising that MYM made it all the way in there, considering Copenhagen Wolves was trying to be so defensive. But obviously with that Annie stun and the potential to chain it with the charm and a Singed flip, anything MYM catches would kill Copenhagen Wolves at this point, unless it's a very sneaky engagement by the Wolves. MYM is right to invade, and Copenhagen Wolves is correct in trying to be defensive.
So we'll see how they begin. Will they go for 2v1 lanes? It seems that that is what is going to happen at the moment. We can see that Makler and Libic have made their way to the bottom, so that's going to be Lucian and Annie up against a single lane of Youngbuck. Meanwhile, Singed, he's going to be 2v1 in that top lane. Who is going to be coming off best from these two?
The Singed and the Shyvana matchup right here. I think considering it's a 1v2, both of them are in a lot of trouble early on. Youngbuck should be a little bit better at farming the jungle when he decides not to lane, and Sin should be a little bit better if he can trail some poison as the minions approach his turret of getting last hits. But both these guys are going to be heavily denied by the AD carry support lanes.
Well, this time around, it is only Kubon with the teleport. Last time it was taken, of course, Youngbuck had a teleport of his own on the Nasus. This time, he could try and make a play. Gone goes Singed, of course, the standard setup for him. Makata coming around for that blue buff. We'll see how he rotates around. His aggression with Evelynn so far has not been that strong, and he's actually very low on mana there. He's going to struggle against that blue buff. No, he's taking it away, no problem.
Yeah, and here's the two-man dive attempt on Youngbuck. Very dangerous.
Very dangerous, and Libic already so low. The Ignite running it may be enough to take him down. There was a minion hit that came out from the Siege minion as well. Makler's going to have to flash away from this one. And well, they tried the aggression. It would have worked had Amazing not been there.
Yeah, I mean, Lucian and Annie may be the strongest level 2 lane that you can pick in League of Legends right now with the burst that comes out from both of them. And it just so happened that Amazing was in the right place at the right time and nearly got a kill back. That was MYM trying to make a very aggressive early game play and just getting a little bit unlucky.
And you call it unlucky, it actually burned a lot of summoner spells. You can see, obviously, both flashes burned out by Youngbuck and Amazing, both flashes burned out by Makler and Libic, which means I guess you would assume Amazing is going to pay a visit there. And of course, don't forget the Mega Inferno Bomb from Coutard could definitely make a big play in that bottom lane.
And Makata actually got spotted by that pink ward in the Tri-Brush, but didn't see the pink ward. So Copenhagen Wolves knows he's here.
Oh, and that's going to be the Ghost Pop. The glue comes down. It's unlimited. He's focusing on. They're going to try and catch on towards him. They're turning the aggression back around. The Ignite comes out. Forgiven putting enough damage down. One more shot should do it. The Ignite's going to run out, but the shot will come in from Forgiven. Unlimited gets away. Makata, Kubon's running away from now, but he's caught by the grasping root.
And
Forgiven,
no Ghost.
It could be a double kill again. He's going to try and teleport away. Can they get the damage down enough? No! Teleports away. He's only gone to the tower. He just clicked whatever he could as quick as he possibly could. This time, not a double kill for Forgiven, but it's a kill nonetheless.
Yeah, and that is just really bad news for MYM overall. The pink ward in the Tri-Brush swung that one.
Charu trying to stick around. The Ignite used on Coutard. Has he got enough mana? Amazing's coming in. Not going to tower dive, though.
Yeah, he was out of jumps anyway. He used his Vault Breaker to get in. But I actually want to talk about the pink ward right there really early on at the top lane in a bit.
In a bit, because Youngbuck's on Makler. He will back away, but Makler taken very, very low already. And that's another top turret going down so quickly to Copenhagen Wolves.
Yeah, this is a fantastic start for Copenhagen Wolves once again. And Makade is hurt because he died and lost his double buffs very early on in the game, thanks to that pink ward down there. And a lot of people are talking about how pink wards aren't a counter to Eve right now, because if she sees them, they'll just kill them. But the thing they forget about is the pink ward's infinite duration right now, and the possibility that if you put it in a brush like we saw there, Makate's not even going to see it. So a normal pink ward would have spotted that gank out and be gone by now. But this pink ward will be able to catch the next gank as well, and unless anyone walks into that brush, will remain infinitely.
Will remain there for the end of time, maybe. Youngbuck will be transferring lanes. He's just pushed in this bottom lane, and he's going to rotate around in a moment once his duo lanes get back here. But for now, he's causing himself a pain in the backside, trying to push and be as heavily as a presence as possible. Amazing. He's coming around towards the Wolves. Will he rotate towards the bottom or top? He's got a pink ward in that mid lane. It's actually in the bush, and nobody spotted it. He's talking about the infinite duress of it. It's been there for a long time.
Yeah, you get some mileage out of these pink wards every once in a while, and we're definitely seeing the impacts of it in this game. They go and sweep another brush. You wouldn't have to sweep the pink ward if you just walked in the brush, but people aren't used or trained to walking through all of those brushes yet to spot the potential pink wards. This is an incredibly early dragon attempt.
Makata is close by, but I don't think he's going to get close enough. The pink ward was finally put in the bush. They will see it out. That Coutard was a little poke towards him, but he may well be in trouble. He gets stunned out. That grasping root lands on towards him. He's got the bombs in. The mines go down. Has he got enough mana to finish it off, though? We do see Charu completely out of position right now. He's got Libby coming around support. They're going to put the damage down on Unlimited. He will get the kill. The Ignite's going to take him down. The Mega Inferno Pop comes in. Charu taken so low. Libby's going to get dropped. Amazing picks up the kill. And it was a 1-for-1 trade, but the Dragon went to the Wolves.
And Ari is on the run right now. If she escapes, it's probably going to be through an execute or a really tricky amount of movement right here. Amazing is on the hunt, though. I don't think he can get any damage out before the turret finishes him off.
Not with that charm. That's going to be a turret kill, and Charu sacrificing himself to make sure he doesn't give gold to the Wolves.
At least Amazing got the experience by being in range of the dying Ari, so that'll help him level up. It actually hits 6 right now on Vi, meaning if he wants to do a return kill anywhere on the map, the first gank that Vi throws off at level 9 is going to be, or at level 6, is going to be very impactful. I got a little stage fright right there. I thought I was going to get thrown on camera.
You were ready.
Yeah.
This time around, though, we do see it's the Wolves that have paused. We're just waiting for the exact problem on why they've stopped, other than Kautad saying what's up. So clearly it's MeetYourMakers that have the issue. We do see Copenhagen Wolves on your screen. And as you mentioned, they can't talk. They can't talk at all, which is why you see Dave, the admin behind them, ruling with an iron fist, making sure no one says a word. Meanwhile, Scott Parkin just at the back there. Now, Borson, you may know him as, is figuring out exactly what is wrong. So they are on the issue straight away, no messing there. So right now, how do we see the situation? It's 3-1 currently to Copenhagen Wolves in kills. That's 1 tower to 0. Copenhagen Wolves again with that tower down. And they are 2-1 up overall in the series.
I actually think...
We've not seen MeetYourMakers ever turn a game where they're against the pressure around.
I actually think this is the best start Copenhagen Wolves has had in all 4 games. Mainly because Makade's Eve is so desperately far behind right now.
Yeah.
Giving up those double buffs in the 2v2 and then actually getting killed again. He's 2 levels behind Amazing's Vi right now. And even he's lost his biggest advantage at this point. Because to me, Eve's biggest advantage is the fact that she can turn a fight anywhere on the map, and there's very limited ways of scouting her. We talked about the pink wards a little bit. But when she's level 4 without double buffs this late into the game, she can't do that anymore. Even if she brings a little bit of damage to a 2v2, it's not actually going to turn it all that well. They're either going to be able to fight a 2v3 and kill him, or just pull away right away because Eve can't throw down enough burst damage at level 4. There's a lot of trouble for MYM right now. I mean, we knew they were in a lot of trouble coming into this game, but the start of it has made it worse.
But the thing is, I mean, the Wolves have been very clever about this Eve, like, because instead of keeping the lane phase going quickly, they've just forced it out. They've rushed it down. They've taken down that tower once again, taken Eve completely out of the game. He needs to get those kills early to get going in the jungle.
I mean, that's kind of why we saw the Caitlyn ban in Game 3, because Forgiven and Unlimited are so good at keeping that lane pushed up, and then not getting ganked because of it. They turned the one gank that tried to stop them from pushing the lane, and it didn't help. That's kind of the risk that MYM ran when they decided to unban Caitlyn this time in favor of something else.
So what are MeetYourMakers got to do? They know they're up against it. Singed is going to become a tanky annoyance. Is he going to become a threat? That's the question. We know what Youngberg's going to do. He's done it all 3 games so far. He's going to be off on his own, split push it. Is the Singed going to be able to counter him enough?
I don't think so at this point. Just because Singed...
You're not giving me much here.
I'm not giving you much. It's like, well, what's going to happen with MYM? I mean, I could go off and say, what is the one way that they come back in this game, right? Like, is there a magical thing that happens? And it's so early right now, it's 7 minutes. If they can control a dragon, and if they can get any shutdown kills later on in the game, it will swing things drastically back in their favor. And that's really what they have to do. But at the moment, they have to wait for the gold to equalize a little bit. They need to count on the minion farm keeping them going, even just passive gold, their Nomad's medallions ticking up a little bit, because the percentage gold deficit they're at right now is so great that fighting is not the option, and they just need to play it out a little bit.
Well, it is going to be the red buff given out. No, it's not. It's not going to get given across to Kuban. Makade's going to take it, despite the fact he had a little help from Kuban. So, in this middle lane, Charu, he's not had the best of Kautad, honestly. Considering you would say that Charu is the more experienced of the two, and honestly, he played fantastic. He was the shining light for MeetYourMakers during the summer LCS. Unlimited taken low in this bottom lane, but not giving up. Manages to land that grasping roots and keep Mackler at bay. Ace in the hole coming out, keeping him low and just using that as the cooldown comes up.
And he's just trying to keep them low since it's a no sustain lane. with that Annie. It's going to give them more freedom to poke with that turret, and that's a big deep gank.
That's a very, very deep gank. Shari using that ultimate to back away. That's going to be Makler using the Culling to try and keep them at bay. Unlimited is going to be the last man, and it's going to be a double kill for the support, Annie Libic.
Well, there we go by MYM. That's some good stuff, plus the missed ultimate. Can he get away too?
Oh, Flash, perfect timing there. He knew the assault battery was down as well, so he could time this one out. This could be the turnaround that MeetYourMakers needed, but those mines are definitely going to put a stop to it. You can see Libic once again. He thought he could get a triple kill, but it's not going to happen. He's going to back away. Charu comes around the side. Could they close in? Kautar's out of position here. McKenna's going to close in. Very low on mana. It's going to be a straight-up fight. He flashes away. The Ignite is running. Charu hasn't got the gap closer, though. One more orb could be enough. Has to dodge out. Amazing. He's back once again. He is persistent. I'll give him that. That's for sure. But Charu out of mana. McKenna continuing to chase. He's going to be trying to cut him off from dropping down. There's pings coming down. They know that the support of Unlimited is joining, and he has to give up the chase.
Yeah, and when all is said and done, it's still just the double kill right there from Annie. And it happened because Copenhagen Wolves overstayed their welcome and didn't respect Makler's level 6 culling on Lucian. That thing hit pretty much everything. He got the angle right on the culling. A lot of times that spell won't do any damage whatsoever and just look like it's pathetic. But that time, it was the key component of MYM's double kill.
So right now, the Copenhagen Wolves, they are 2,000 gold ahead. It is all square in kills, though, and MeetYourMakers getting a small glimmer of hope, but honestly, how much of a glimmer is it when the support gets the 2 kills? He has gone, oh, he's gone for a Haunting Guys.
He's going big this game.
He's going big.
He's saying, who's a support
go
now?
big or go home.
Who's a support now?
Sure.
I want to get my Haunting Guys before a Sightstone. They don't necessarily care about the vision right now. They just want that 2v2 to be able to kill. And if he's going for Haunting Guys this early, it definitely gives him a little bit of extra power there.
Well, we'll see whether he can make the plays or not. No flash available, of course. Tibbers is now on for Libic. We'll see whether he goes aggressive, goes full on for it. Meanwhile, this mid lane, the pressure is almost certainly on him. Charu is desperately trying to keep the minions off the tower. Kautar keeps driving forward.
Yeah, and if they get the 3 turrets down, it's going to be almost a repeat performance by Copenhagen Wolves. Yes, they gave up a bit of a silly double kill in the bottom lane, but they've kept the lane pressure on all across the map. Shyvana is pushing down Kuban's Singed. Kautar has countered Charu's roam a little bit by just pushing up the mid lane. And of course, Caitlyn Zara, they're going to always overpush. This is turret number 3 right here.
Ace in the hole comes through. It's going to be followed on. Ace Hole battery is going to come through. Is it enough damage? The Ignite. Oh, Megrin Bob dodges out of it. He's on nothing. 5 health is all he's got left. Stranglethorns gets thrown down. Libic picks himself up a 4th kill of the game. He's continuing on that damage. This could be an AP. Kuban comes down, teleports in. He hasn't got Ghost available. Yes, he has. He just popped it. Glue comes in, flips it Unlimited. That's going to be a 2nd kill. Makler picks that one up at last. And finally, the AD carry gets on the board.
MYM fighting back in a big way right there. Everyone collapsing in and just getting some comeback kills. They're still down 3 turrets to 0, though, and they just can't get the minion wave down enough to get any type of turret pressure back.
Well, Amazing has gone in a couple of times, and that Assault and Battery keeps putting him in a little bit of danger. Youngbuck coming around the side. They're going to collapse on towards MeetYourMakers. Is it enough? The ultimates get popped out by Youngbuck. They're going to single out Libic. Oh, and they get the kill. And that is a bounty as well for Youngbuck.
Yeah, surprising amount of gold for killing a support for these guys. It's because 4 kills for MYM were already on top of Libic's support, Annie. It's tough for MYM because they made some really good plays there. They were getting pushed back so heavily, and they laid a pretty good trap there. Charu was able to keep himself alive with some fancy spirit rushes, but since they gave up the return kill when Copenhagen Wolves collapsed down, they gave up the dragon and one of the kills. And since they gave up the turret at the very start of it, they're down more gold than when they started those whole bits of action.
That means the dragon, of course, like you say, going down. Kuban putting the... trying to put the pressure on towards the top lane, but he hasn't got enough there. He's going to keep the minions burning down. Youngbuck will be returning to lane, but he'll realize that a lot of those minions have already been taken down. So let's have a look across some of these builds, because items are starting to be completed. Kautar quite far ahead right now. Already got that Athene's an early Grail, yet Charu, he had to go for the boots early on.
And he also wants to rush that Deathfire Grasp as quickly as possible. He'd go for the boots because he wants a little bit of added dodging from all of Kautar's skill shots, and also because DFG is just the item for Ahri, but it puts him at a bit of a disadvantage in straight-up lane trades.
Meanwhile, Makler and Libic, they tried to go aggressive early on. They almost got the kill early on Youngbook, but instead they're going to take themselves the tower this time around. Unlimited has got the support of Forgiven now coming in, but the tower will be gone before they get close.
Yeah, and unfortunately for Libic, he put that ward a little bit too shallow, and the turret vision was able to spot it out, so they don't get the advanced warding in that lane that they'd really planned on getting. That was one of Libic's strategies of not going Sightstone and trying to get extra vision, was to put it in the lane. Just didn't work out.
Is Makla getting spotted out by that pink? The red buff is going to get taken away. I think Mikado realized he can't fight for this one. That's going to get given. Amazing will take that away, and now they're going to come around. It's a 3-man push potentially on Kubon in this top lane.
They want him right now, and they got a lot of lockdown.
They got a lot of lockdown. He's making him run through the poison. He hasn't got Ghost, of course. He used it in that last fight. He's not going to be able to get out of this one, pinging it away, but it's not going to do him any good. And while he's keeping the pressure, he's trying to buy time for this middle turret, but that's an inner turret in the top lane that's going to get pushed.
And it will be the second turret of the game for MYM if they try to get this one back, but just the fact that Kubon was so crushed out of that lane, just no chance of escape. Vi didn't even have to use his ultimate. Means they got in a bit of trouble. And yeah, you're right. The middle turret, the inner turret for the middle turret doesn't matter.
No, and that's going to be Stranglethorns being used by Unlimited to keep him away. Isn't a hole used, and actually Charo trying to dodge out. The Mega Inferno Bomb might land. McCann does get out of the way of it. The speed boost is there enough with those boots he's got, and tries to just get away. Pops those stilettos and makes a run for it. Libic may get closed in on here, but Youngbook is not going to get close enough, I feel. Will turn the corner, just dodges out of that damage. And Copenhagen Wolves, they're starting to make the plays and starting to create the pressure all across the map. And again, they've gouged themselves out a 5,000 gold advantage.
Plus, they've been able to successfully take over MYM's jungle. They've gotten the last blue buff and the last red buff, as well as maybe turret number 5 here.
Yeah, the inner turret on the mid lane, the most important one, honestly, has gone down. And MeetYourMakers again face themselves a difficult uphill challenge. Flash comes out, Libic gonna get caught out here. Youngbook goes deep, Libic's taken low, and Kubon tries to run on through. Youngbook's low in this one, has to back out. The quick explosive pack, is it gonna be enough? No, the Mega Inferno Bomb is not available. He used it a moment ago, of course, so the cooldown is still on, but Copenhagen Wolves just bullied them out of lane once again.
And I do have to say, the fights from Copenhagen Wolves this match, at least the big fights, have been rather sloppy. They know they're in a very high lead right now, and they're continuing to put the pressure on, but because they're pushing so hard, they're going a little bit too far in these pushes. Some of this does have to do with them being one game from making it into the LCS, which, aside from Kautar, no one has been in the LCS before for any of these guys, so that could definitely be impacting their play a bit here.
Definitely pressure on them, and maybe just a little bit of a thrill of the excitement of that their jobs could be secured and get themselves a position at least, certainly for the spring split. And of course, don't forget there will be summer promotion up downs. Not saying that they'll be in it if they get through, but it is always a chance for any of the teams attending, and they have to keep up this performance, the skill level, all the way throughout the season if they even get themselves in towards that LCS. The Copenhagen Wolves right now, though, are certainly looking the favorites.
And I mean, if any team's going to stick together, it's going to be MYM. There's also the Coke Zero Challenger Series that they're going to be a part of. So MYM, obviously they want to win this game, but it's not the do or die that we saw back in Season 3 where they just thought everyone was going to disband if they didn't make it into the LCS.
Absolutely. Mega Inferno Bomb thrown down the bottom. That's going to wipe out that wave and keep Kubon at bay, but he just clears the wave with his poison. And this is something he's going to be doing a lot of. And, you know, we talked about Youngbook's Shyvana and maybe his play that he's had outside of Renekton, but he's doing perfectly fine in this one, 2-0 in terms of kills. And honestly, he's having no problems. He's already taken down that top inner turret, so everything he's been doing split pushing wise has worked so far.
And his small amounts of teamfight contributions have been pretty strong as well. I think for Kubon Singed, it's a very difficult game for him right now because he's again in the situation like he was on Tryndamere, where they've lost all their turrets before he's really powered up to split push. He had the lane pushed really far that last time, but you could see Kautar just came down bottom, shoved it out, and now Singed is trapped again. Kubon needs to be able to get a lane pushed up all the way and then teleport in while people are going and helping him. And he's just not had the opportunity to do that in this match.
Well, blue thrown down on Kautar, but quickly uses that explosive pack to bounce away. No problem there for him. Amazing he's going to come around the side. They're just keeping the lanes completely pushed, and this is the final inner turret that they really have to focus on.
Yeah, they're getting some harass down very early, and that's a really hurt Libic.
That's a very hurt Libic, and the Assault Battery follows it through. Kuban also pops. He goes down, and that's 2 kills easily. Makata comes around the side, tries to get himself a free support, but there is no free kills on the Copenhagen Wolves, and he is forced away. And again, the Copenhagen Wolves, they are set to take another inner turret.
2 more easy kills, and you could really see Kuban Sin is just not turned into any type of tank at this point in the game. He melted as they were trying to dive this one, and the control of turrets just continues for Copenhagen Wolves. Dragon's up as well.
Dragon is up, and Copenhagen Wolves already turning their attention towards it, and that's going to give them yet more gold and take them to close to 10,000 gold ahead. And look, you see the ace in the hole followed by the Assault Battery.
I thought it was going to be harass at that point with the ace in the hole. Turns out they just wanted to kill him. It's because he stuck around once the ace in the hole was targeted on him, and Libic tried to get a stun down for maybe a bit of a turn, but at that point MYM was just so far behind, and the damage has been done. He just got obliterated.
And he's got the hit points from the Haunting guys he had early on, but just unable to turn it around to a great deal. Again, we're seeing boots of mobility coming out from Libic, so he's trying to be mobile, trying to be a part of it, but unfortunately for him, the rest of his team are not quite performing. And honestly, Makata's still on Evelyn. I'm just not convinced by his play on Evelyn this whole promo series.
Well, he hasn't made the early game count. And at this point, it's in the late game. He's trying to make this one count because Young Buck's taking on the world.
Oh, Mega Inferno Bomb's going to come in. They finally dodge out of the way. Last second spot it, but Young Buck's going to get on towards Libic. You see Amazing coming around the side there. Libic's going to be fodder for Coutard, and now it's going to be Assault Battery onto Kuban. We talked about how he's not built tank. You see Unlimited popping his the speed buff on there from the Talisman. Grasping Roots just on the tip, catching straight on there. Kuban goes down. Copenhagen Wolves are just massacring MeetYourMakers.
Nice shot there by Unlimited Zara. You can see why he's still playing this champion as a support, because he is on point with his skill shots, and they push down the turrets extremely well early in all of their victories, and they are, like you said, in complete control. Only 20 minutes in, trying to siege down an inhibitor turret already.
And that is a 10,000 gold lead for the Wolves right now, and those bombs, they are finding their point. And again, Makler, he's trying to create something from nothing. There's nothing to be had. There was no reason for the team to be around there other than just simply scouting it out, seeing if they're backing away. But the Wolves, they're not gone yet. And you see MeetYourMakers, they're going to try and shove down that mid lane, but Copenhagen Wolves are already ready to react. Teleport comes in from Kuban. He wants to try and catch someone out. He thinks he's caught Unlimited. Let's see if he has, because Coutard's around the side there. Mines get thrown out. You're not going to chase through them.
Yeah, it's a bad idea to chase through a minefield, just in life, but also in League of Legends. So these guys really trying to force, but they just do not have the gold for it.
And again, the Wolves are just so quick at reacting. They saw the MeetYourMakers wanted to push on through. This happened last time around. And they're like, no, we are not going to give you free play here. Forgiven, he needs to be able to get himself a little bit better position there. They have finally got themselves a little positional advantage here, but it's only going to be a slight tickle on the turret. Amazing's ready to go on this one. Youngbuck's coming in. Quick slice. Spirit Rush comes out from Charu. It is enough to dodge away, but look at that. They channel, they find Makata just off the side there. Mega Inferno Bomb catches on 3 members. That's going to be Makata going down at the side. That's going to be Charu caught out. Oh, the blow explosive cast catches on 3 of them. It's a double kill for Coutard. They're chasing on through. The bomb catches on Kuban. Have they got enough to chase it down? I don't think so. But it's another 3-for-1 fight.
And this fight was actually extremely forced by Copenhagen Wolves, but it paid off because they were so far ahead. They actually engaged that before Ziggs was even in range, and you can really see in these battles how Copenhagen Wolves is just singling out Makate and not letting Eve do any type of flanking. It's working wonderfully.
The moment he comes in, it's Assault Battery on it. The second he shows himself, there's no way he can do anything. And you know, we talked about how he's not had an effect. Maybe we should talk about how Amazing has done so well to just basically take him away. Look, the minute he shows himself around the side, they're like, turn around straight away. Amazing was in the fight, in the mid lane.
You can tell it's a team strategy for them, how quickly they turn. And this is, again, kind of Youngbuck trying to take on the world. That's why he died. And we have to say, Coutard Ziggs has been completely on point. That knockback / kill was perfect.
Well, Coutard on Ziggs is not going to survive this one. He's definitely caught out, throws out the bomb, tries to put as much damage down as he can. The rest of his team around the side, look how much damage he did on his own.
Yeah, that was, right as we talked him up, though. He goes and gets caught by 4 people, so not the smoothest play there by Coutard. They do need to keep their heads in this game because they're getting really excited right now. They must know that they are far up in this game. They are 1 game from being full-time LCS players, and they just want to finish it off. Look out, Makler.
Caught out, quickly dashes on him. Assault battery locks in, gets him slammed down. Charu did throw out the charm, but that's not going to be enough to stop Amazing and Youngbuk having their wicked way with Makla.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like that Lee Sin ban has had much of an impact, just because Amazing's Vi has been equally as impressive, if not more so. They are just chasing MOM down. We know that MOM wants to try and do some split pushing, but Copenhagen Wolves is just keeping the lanes pressured better.
Uh-oh, Libic's out of position and is trying to get those wards down, and there is a hungry dragon chasing through. They're going to get caught out, and again, Amazing and Youngbuk. Amazing is everywhere, and frankly, doing a fantastic job in the jungle.
They found him.
Oh, Ace in the hole, and Makata, that's going to land. Oh, doesn't manage to get the slam finally this time, but it's going to be an inhibitor surely for Copenhagen Wolves.
Yeah, but with an Ahri in the bottom lane and a Singed in the top lane, plus a person dead, 100% this inhibitor. I wonder if they're going to try and rotate and take this turret down without minions, just because they know so many people on MOM are missing.
Well, that's it. He's throwing the plants down. They can tank it through. The culling being used, but it's not enough to stop the inhibitor turret going down. And maybe the inhibitor, the rest of the team have finally rotated back in there. They've got to be careful. Makler, he's so close to danger. Libic taken so low there, trying to get caught out. Mega Inferno Bomb thrown out, does catch him down. He gets dropped. And Copenhagen Wolves, they could finish the game right here. They could be in the LCS.
They're just going to try and push this one through. There isn't Eve behind them, but is without an ult, and they're trying their best to try and finish this one off quickly.
Makata, he really wants to try and make a play. He's going to have to do something very quickly, but the Copenhagen Wolves, they are sticking together as a solid 5 unit. They're taking the Nexus to it down. They come back around. Makata's on there. Assault battery once again, singling him out. He goes down. Now Charu's in trouble. Caught out. The Ignite comes through. Charu gets singled out. Kubon gets taken down. And the Copenhagen Wolves, they can push through and finish.
And look at the kiting that came out from the entire Copenhagen Wolves team. 5 men together, 25 minutes, 3 wins, LCS.
Fantastic, fantastic stuff. The Copenhagen Wolves, that is what it means to them. They are so happy they've finally done it. Youngbuk 3 times trying to get in here. They had team changes that most teams would have suffered from. Shuk and Reckless leaving the team, but they pulled in absolutely fantastic replacements. And that is what it means, unfortunately, for MeetYourMakers to go out and then lose their careers in the LCS. We talked about it, the Coke Challenger Series is there, but it's not where they wanted to be. And that is a very, very happy Copenhagen Wolves right there.
Yeah, just such a difference between the sides there. You can see the absolute joy from Copenhagen Wolves and just the defeat on the faces of MOM. It's a tough situation to be in right there, but you can't take anything away from the Copenhagen Wolves. They were very close in that first game, and a lot of teams would have been rattled after that, knowing they came in with so much confidence and to lose their very first game. But they weren't. They crushed the next 3.
Yeah, the second game especially was a big slap straight back, and they knew once they had that, the confidence was flowing through them. And MeetYourMakers, it was the lane phase that they were losing it in.
Yeah, MeetYourMakers could not stick with the laning power of Copenhagen Wolves. And that's what happens with a lot of the up-and-coming challenger teams. I kind of want to reference Cloud9 a little bit back from North America, how when they were playing complexity to kind of get back in, and even when they were in the LCS, it was their laning, for the most part, that carried them through. The strong challenger teams, since so much time, they don't have a bunch of time cohesively as a team, when they're winning and when they're dominant, it's because their laning is the strongest thing, since that's kind of the most individual thing they can do.
And I can even say, maybe even reference the Fnatic against the Royal Club. Royal Club, that lane phase was fantastic. The crowd giving the Wolves a rousing applause here, and of course they are here in the new studio, but that is our first new team locked in.
Yeah. It's pretty crazy. Number 6
It's
right
a
now
sad time. I mean,
LCS.
it's always a sad time to see a team going out of the LCS, honestly. But this is the way that promotional relegation works. I know it's alien to you guys in America because you don't generally have this. We have it all the time.
We did kind of have the
football.
LCS for a whole year, so I feel like I'm getting used to it.
I'm talking about real sports as well. I mean,
Real sports,
football,
traditional sports.
Traditional sports is the
Get our
phrase.
verbiage correct.
Yeah, we've got to be careful with that one, of course, because esports is a real sport these days. Proper athlete visas and everything.
Absolutely. But yeah, I got to say, I think this, with Copenhagen Wolves coming in, it is going to be exciting for the next season in the LCS, just with how strong they look and how good a lot of these players are. Forgiven, in particular, was a very underrated AD carry coming in, but just watching the way Copenhagen Wolves steamrolled through the group stage, I think they're absolute contender for top 4 in the LCS.
Absolutely. We'll see how it works out for them. But for now, we are going to send it over to the stage where Shox is standing by with a very victorious Copenhagen Wolves.
Absolutely. Here with the Copenhagen Wolves. I mean, Young Buck, third time is a charm, you said, and it absolutely was. Tell us your thoughts when that Nexus finally went down in that game 4.
I was like, finally the LCS is here. Finally.
Yeah, and talk me through those games, especially game 1, actually, because that Mundo, that was no easy feat for you guys.
Yeah, before the game started, we had some disagreements about whether we should ban the Mundo or not, because the Nasus does counter it. But we made a mistake by lane swapping, and they had a good mid game where they caught a lot of people and got objectives. We could have won it, but we made some more mistakes later on. But we transitioned. We learned from the mistakes in game 1, and then we just steamrolled it.
Yeah, it was a very nice performance, and I want to ask for Given, maybe you came into the team, huge weight on your shoulders because you had to come in for Reckless, of course, and then Pentakill over in the group stage. Very solid performance here. How did you experience the games?
Well, I think that for the team that I joined, and they were trying like for 1 year to qualify for LCS, and like this was maybe the most important series that all of us, each single player has ever had. And I think like I didn't have any pressure, but I had to perform in order to help my team qualify into the LCS. And I'm actually an AD carry, so the AD carry has to be informed for this series. So I tried, and I think I managed a very good performance. I guess, whatever.
No, you did very well. I want to ask you maybe about the picks, because you went for Caitlyn and then Illusion, and Caitlyn, a pick that maybe has fallen out of grace. Maybe you stuck with her. Why was that?
Well, I think that Caitlyn is still actually one of the top 4 picks that an AD carry has to play in order to be an AD carry. And while Jinx and Severe didn't actually fit our team and my playstyle, I sticked with Lucian and Caitlyn. Lucian was banned many times. I had the opportunity to play it. And I think Caitlyn was generally the best pick we had in any situation. Like in 3 games in a row, I didn't think that any other AD carry champion could help as much as Caitlyn did. And it was, of course, a team decision. Like, it is not only just me.
Yeah, it was great and amazing. I want to ask you, because the same applies to you, had to come in, big shoes to fill, and especially here, I feel like you stepped up. How did you experience the games going up against your Mokade, of course, in the jungle?
Well, don't know, like, I felt the pressure, of course, and it was like especially after game 1. So I was kind of scared that we actually may lose, but I don't know, like, I just thought that it's MYM. We have 3 games to go. So, like, I just try to step up my game in some way, try to be more mentally focused. I think I accomplished that in some manner. And I really liked the last 3 games. We just played fluid, and just basically raped them.
Well, coming into this one, they said maybe you guys were a little bit overhyped, and I know Kautar immediately said, I don't think so, and you had great games. Do you want to show us your perspective of going up against Saru, who probably was one of the people you feared the most going into this one?
Well, honestly, in the matchup, I didn't expect to come winning out of any of the laning phases. I mainly figured, like, they normally play with the Cesara as the carry, so by just sticking even, he can't really carry the team. I mean, if we both have equally strong APs, we basically fill the same role.
Right, and you guys did very well, but I gotta ask you, you finally did it, but the real journey is about to begin as you're gonna be up in the LCS against some of the best teams in the world here in Europe. How are you gonna prepare for that? I don't know who wants to answer.
Well,
first we're gonna take a break because we were training non-stop for a very long time, especially me and Joy, we played straight for half a year or something after the last qualifier. So now we finally earned some break for a few weeks, and then we're gonna start practicing again. I don't know.
Yeah, you guys have definitely earned a break. Fantastic in here. Do you have any words? Because you have a lot of fans here in the crowd and at home, I'm sure.
Yeah, I want to thank all the fans that are here and also at home, and especially my family, because they've been very supportive of me.
I'll give it up, indeed, for the Copenhagen Wolves. Congratulations, guys. You did it. You made it into the LCS. It's time to relax a little bit, but we hope you're there, of course, when the new season starts to give us your best performance. And as for us, we're going to send it over to Riv, Quickshot, and Aranea for their take on the Copenhagen Wolves promotion tournament win.
Thank you very much, Shocks. And I think after a big tournament, it's a well-deserved break. You can kind of let off some steam, right?
Yeah, completely agree.
Especially we need that on Gamescom as well.
they deserve that as well
Yeah,
now.
especially when you've got a job for the next year. I mean, this is the 6th LCS team here in Europe. They've locked in their spot for the 2014
Third time's
season.
the charm. Getting themselves back in once again. Congratulations from the desk here to the Copenhagen Wolves for making it in. And really, it was huge. Big differences in the day. The games were the CS numbers put up by carries. It was in the bottom lane, obviously, the AD carries at 10 minutes was a big factor. We were looking at this all game long, and Mackler's stats were at 63 CS, average 10 minutes, over the 4 games. And I know it was different on the other side, because we just couldn't get our eyes off it.
Yeah, it was something that I think it was highlighted in the 80 carries, because over on the other side, Forgiven hit an average of 81 CS at the 10-minute mark. That's a pretty big number.
Right.
You're approaching 20 CS, you're approaching, that's basically a kills
in 4 games
value
in a
with
row.
the gold every single game. And the reason we're accentuating the 80 carries in this is because it's that role was sort of the most glaring
They have the
change.
most to deal with in
Yes.
this patch.
And everywhere else, people were roaming. They were, MYM in particular, not necessarily pushing the objectives quite as clearly, not taking advantage
Right.
of where they were. So I feel like Copenhagen Wolves just went back to basics and did it a little bit in MYM.
Absolutely. And Arne, nerves obviously come into play here, and we kind of saw them settling as we were also talking. It's not going to be a sunny entry for them in the LCS with the way these games are going. So the off time is definitely going to have to be their practice. They were one-sided games, but not definitive. Why was that?
Well, it's always really hard. Like the first game you play here, you play against an experienced team, and you always like struggle a bit at the start. It happened with us against Giants. The first 2 games we get destroyed. I mean, we didn't play our game. We were like so nervous. It happens as well with Copenhagen Wolves. I think it's also the main problem was the composition of MeetYourMakers. It was really strong for first game, and for rest of the games, probably on the 3rd game it was a good comp, but the rest of the comps of MeetYourMakers wasn't that good as Copenhagen Wolves were.
I got a question for you in particular, because you mentioned the Giants game. I mean, you guys were down 0-2, you came back 3-2, the legendary 3,000 ELO Shockwave, and then the 3,000 ELO full stack Tears of Joy, because, I mean, do you still remember the feeling?
I can't really remember the feeling. Well, actually, we watched the replay like some weeks ago. Kobe and me, we were like just in the gaming house, just watching replays of games, and we particularly watched the last game. And still, like even now, when I watch that moment, it's like I almost cry again.
I can tell you right now, Arene's eyes are tearing up.
I feel the emotional aura.
It's the makeup. It's the makeup. It's the makeup.
It's the
makeup. Yeah. It's got in his eye. Mascara. Get it out. Moving on. Every game, we saw Kassadin, Olaf, and Katarina on that ban list. What else surprised you about picks and bans?
Ziggs being picked.
Every game.
There was so much emphasis on that. Katarina being banned out.
Yeah.
We heard Skara talking about it, saying Chari would like to play the teleport cat, which he has done previously. But a lot of emphasis on that Ziggs, and also Caitlyn for Forgiven. It was really one of his go-to champs.
That's absolutely right.
First of all, I'm going to talk about the mid picks. They always ban Katarina. I guess MeetYourMakers throwing a lot at Katarina. And you were talking about the teleport. MeetYourMakers started the LCS and started pretty much like winning every game by that teleport. I mean, we talk about the Mackler being like always lower like 18 or 20 CS at the minute of 10 minutes.
Right.
But it was always like this with MeetYourMakers. They weren't never really good on laning phase, but it was Saru, just that teleport of the mid laner going to a lane to help that always make them win the games. That was the special strat, or the key the win key factor of MeetYourMakers at the early of the season. Now he stopped playing that teleport, and he probably like found that with Katarina he have a really good laning phase, and he can like with the teleport hold the other lanes. Still, I think like he could try to play that teleport on other champions because he was like working correctly with him. And talking about again about the bans.
Absolutely.
That Mundo, that Sivana. These are the bans of these new pads. These are the bans of the new mastery, or the defensive mastery. It's really strong right now, the HP tanks in top lane, even in jungle, so that's why pretty much we see all these bans.
All right, so the mastery is creating compositions. Make sure you guys are looking at those once these players comes out. There's been quite a few on Reddit, but that does it for us here at the analyst desk. Before we send it over to the desk with Jat and D-Man, I'd like to first thank Arnair for joining us today through all the oh, that's fantastic. So dapper. But now we're going to send it over to D-Man and Jat to wrap up day 1 of the 2014 promotion tournament. Gentlemen, take it away once more.
Thank you very much, guys. And with today's promotion series over, let's take a look at the 6 teams that are now locked in their spots for the 2014 European LCS. The Copenhagen Wolves, they are in there now, and they are joining the Lemon Dogs, Fnatic, Alliance, Gambit, and Team Alternate with 2 more spots up for grabs.
Yeah, and looking at it right now, that's a very strong lineup for the 2014 European LCS, and we're only going to see more strength added to it with the rest of this weekend. So, you know, success so far.
Yeah, of course, we've seen Gambit taking Cologne, Fnatic looking strong.
At Worlds.
Rumors of Alliance being incredible. We'll see how they play tomorrow, of course, because coming up tomorrow, the first shots will be fired in the Battle of the Atlantic as Skara and Dignitas invade Europe to take on